Welcome back to my makeover of the J.C. Landry building by Walthers, and as always, thanks to my subscribers. In this second part, I will show you how I completed this project. I had originally planned to build a new loading dock from scratch, but then I decided to reuse the original dock. I carefully sliced the original dock from the foundation, but in the process, I broke one section of the dock support. I can glue this back together pretty easily. I used the leftover dock supports from the L-shaped part of the dock to form end supports, as you see here. I sanded the dock surface with 150 grit sandpaper along the grain of the cast-in planks. Then I applied the same black wash I used on the walls. When I glued the loading dock to the rear of the foundation, I discovered that the dock, which was a little too short to begin with, was now much shorter after I removed the plastic base. The dock supports are about 1/8 of an inch short of touching the ground. That's about 3 millimeters. So I cut 8 short lengths of 1/10 inch square styrene strip, and I glued each one to a short piece of 20 thou by 100 thou styrene. This will give me a better gluing surface. I glued each of these assemblies to the ends of each dock post. Then I painted them to match the original dock. The outside staircase is at best adequate. There are 3 problems that jump out at me. First, there is no bracing on the 2 landing support posts. This could be easily fixed by gluing some styrene strips between the posts to form cross bracing. Second, the support posts are scale 12 by 12s, and they are 15 scale feet long. This is a massive post, which is more suitable for a railroad trestle. This could be fixed by cutting off the posts and replacing them with 80 thousandths inch square strip, about 8 by 8, or even better, 60 thousandths inch square strip, about 6 by 6. But that still left me with the third problem. The stairs are incredibly steep. The treads are 6 inches deep, and the risers are 18 inches high, resulting in a stair angle of about 55 degrees. More typical measurements are 9-inch treads and 7-inch risers, resulting in an angle of about 40 degrees. Not only is this an incredibly steep flight of steps, the bottom of the steps is nowhere close to the rear wall of the building, so our HO scale construction crew had to extend the loading dock 12 feet along the side of the building just to provide a stair landing. A much more reasonable and therefore prototypical solution would have been to provide more conventional risers and treads and an intermediate landing. This would allow the stairs to end exactly at the loading dock at the rear of the building, and would have made climbing those stairs much easier. How you view these issues is of course a matter of personal taste, and you are free to choose how to proceed. Since I had a Central Valley steps and ladders kit on hand, I decided to eliminate the loading dock extension and to build an entirely new staircase. I started by creating a template of the desired stair profile and checking the template against the building to double-check the fit. Next, I cut 2 pieces of staircase material from the Central Valley kit. Then I fabricated the 2 landings using V-groove siding for the landing and 20 thousandths by 80 thousandths strip for the joists and the end framing. Before I assembled the staircase, I cut notches in the landings and in the stair pieces for the posts, which will support the handrails. I used 30 thousandths inch square strip for these posts. I carefully braced the 4 pieces, 2 landings and 2 stair flights, so they matched the profile template and were square and true. Then I glued the assembly together. When the glue was fully cured, I attached the handrail posts to the assembly and trimmed them to height, about 33 inches. I formed the handrails from 20 thousandths by 40 thousandths strip. I glued one piece to the insides of the handrail posts with the long side vertical. Then I glued a second piece to the tops of the first rail and the posts with the long side horizontal. Here is the nearly complete staircase. I used 60 thousandths square styrene strip for the landing support posts, and I used 10 thousandths by 60 thousandths strip for the cross braces. I would have preferred to use 10 thou by 80 thou, but I didn't have any on hand. I completed the assembly by gluing the support posts to the underside of the stair landings, taking care that everything was square and true. After a quick check to be sure the stair assembly fit as desired, I primed it using Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch 2X flat red primer. Then I applied a black wash. I fabricated a simple porch for the front of the building. I used the same V-groove siding for the porch floor, a 20 thousandths by 100 thousandths strip for the floor joists, and 40 thousandths square strip for the support posts. I covered the 3 exposed sides of the porch using Tichy's lattice, cut on an angle to create a diamond pattern. Since everything else on this building is made of styrene, I wanted to build the front steps out of styrene as well, but I have not found a supplier of plastic HO scale stair stringers. So I used these excellent stair stringers from Builders in Scale as a template to cut my own stringers from scale 2x12s. Then I used scale 1x10 styrene strip to form the treads. I used this template from Builders in Scale to position the stringers while I glued the treads in place. I knew I would have to create an interior for this building. The large front windows are perfect for showcasing a simple interior. So I created an interior in the front half of the building. I added an interior partition on the left side of the structure. This will enclose a hallway leading to the second floor. That hallway is accessed by the front door at the left side of the front wall. I created a simple shadow box interior by drawing the walls, complete with advertising signs, in Inkscape. I included a ceiling which would fold over the walls to complete the shadow box. Notice that I added a wainscoting as a second layer, and I glued a Tichy door into one wall. These provide a 3-dimensional aspect to the interior walls. Then I folded and glued the shadow box into its final shape. I added a wood plank floor to the surface of the foundation. It's just a texture printed onto self-adhesive label paper. In my opinion, providing an interior is a waste of time unless you provide interior lighting as well. I mounted an LED in the ceiling and connected it to a 1.25 millimeter male JST plug. I covered the backside of the LED with duct tape to prevent light from leaking out the rest of the building. Details are critical to add interest and bring life to your structure. Believable details will draw your viewers into the scene, which in turn makes your scene seem larger than it is. You can add as many or as few details as you like. I painted some feed sacks, barrels, empty pallets, and figures. These will be placed on the loading dock, on the front porch, or in the interior. I fabricated and painted a hoist support to mount above the loft door on the dock side of the building. I mentioned in the previous video the benefits of printing your own decals. This is particularly evident when you need drums or feed sacks. Printing decals to add interest to these details is easy and effective. At long last, it's time to put it all together. First, I glued the interior details in place. I used CA glue for this job because I did not want these details shifting if I have to move the building, and I can always peel up and replace the wood plank texture if necessary. Next, I glued the building shell to the foundation, applying glue at just the corners of the building. Then I taped the shadow box interior in position and snapped the roof in place. Then I glued on the exterior staircase and the front porch, and I attached the hoist support to the dockside wall. Here is my reworked structure. I think it will be easy to find a spot for this building on my layout, and I will not be embarrassed to display it. I decided not to add working exterior lights to this structure. Instead, I glued some non-working lights above the loading dock and above the top stair landing. So why not take a chance? Dig out one of those ugly structures you've had hidden away for years and see if you can't give it a makeover and turn it into a showpiece that you'd like to show on your layout. In the description below this video, you'll find links to many of the products and tools I've mentioned. I love to read your comments and to respond to your questions. If you want to see more videos of this type, be sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.